Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's talk how your action went and your final questions and your final half hour of blog sprint and moving forward. Lisa, you raised your hand like you were just waiting for that. All right. Let me start by muting everybody except for you, Lisa. Give me just a second so we don't get any major background noise. All right, Lisa, go for it.
Okay, so I think I'll be thinking out loud and looking at my words as I'm talking.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing right now is transitioning. So the transition before I joined on with all this was, fuck, I don't want to do a blog post. I can't stand this whole idea. And now I'm like, oh, I can blog. So that's huge. Okay.
Right.
But
I love when people go from fuck I can't do it to okay, yeah, let's do this thing. That's a big step.
And I had a lot of that feeling. That was huge. So that's big. Now I'm like, oh, I just thought of another blog. So I'm not as worried about whether I would continue doing it and coming up with ideas. But what I've done so far has been Word document content. So my biggest thing now is this transitioning. Okay, I have a WordPress website, I have my Godaddy website, and so I need to figure out this transition thing now.
Yeah.
And I need to also now figure out how do I now take these blog posts, get them into WordPress, put in the videos, put in the pictures, figure out Yoast. So all the stuff that people were talking about, I couldn't really comment on yet, and I'd love to support everybody once I'm on board with all that. So the questions in my head were, will I lose content if I post these blogs now and then transition to WordPress, repost them when I transition to WordPress? Should I get that first, that whole website transition first, and then post my blogs? Will I be penalized for duplicate content if I don't?
So let me ask you a clarifying
one
question.
last thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
One last thing was, since I haven't learned the tech stuff yet, should I just post the content, then as I learn things, embed the videos, embed the, after I've already posted the content, can I just keep updating it? Okay.
So let me answer the last one first.
Okay.
Start with what you can do, and then you can always go back and add more of what you don't know right now. I'm more about taking action, even if it's, it's a C+, and the video would make it an A+, and it's not as optimized or not as focused on a keyword. I want all of you to take action where you can take action. And that may just be, you just write like hell in Word and you figure out the tech stuff later. Or it may be that you just get the blog post up and you embed later. So I'd say take action where you can take action. In regards to your GoDaddy website, what kind of timeline do you have in regards to when you want to move away from that website?
Well, basically I already have the WordPress. I have it managed by GoDaddy. I realize politics and all, but I'm not ready to just shift the whole thing because I've already paid for 5 years with them. So my husband has said he can help me transition the website, and he'll probably, once he do it, just do it in a couple of days. But so maybe over this month,
okay,
update the website.
Sure.
But hopefully it can keep the same web name or the same domain name, or
sure.
I haven't.
So if you had said in 6 months I'm going to do it, and I got to hire somebody else to do it, I would have said go put it, just get it out there now. If you're talking a month, over the next month you're transitioning, I would just wait until it's all transitioned over to WordPress. But during that time, get in the habit of blogging. And so as if you had that all set up, I want you to still be blogging on the regular basis that you will be once you have that WordPress website. But if we were talking a month, 2 months, I'd say just wait till it all switches over. And then you can kind of go through and figure out how to do all of that. In regards to how to embed, how to upload them into WordPress, make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to continue to make content and videos there. And especially as you guys have questions in the Facebook group, I mean, it's of value to me to answer those questions in a video form, because if you have that question, somebody else has that question too. And so that just helps bring people into practice to the practice. And I can create content that's unique to Blog Sprint, but that also other people are going to get value from too. And that'll help me get more people on practice to the practice too. So, so if I don't have a video on my YouTube channel about what you need, let me know. And it may be a 2-minute video of here's how you change your meta description. And I'm happy to do that, especially because it's content that other people care about too.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, saw a few other hands there. I thought, let's just scroll through y'all. I was wrong. All right, so let's jump into the chat. All right, so Michelle said, can you send us information about the mastermind group? Let me just kind of talk about how it worked with my other mastermind group, and then we can kind of talk about if that's something that I can get 6 of you that want to do it, or even 4 of you, and then I can reach out to my consulting clients and see if there's 2 others that would want to do it. So the way that it would work would be, it would be for 6 people. The format is we meet once a month, so we pick a specific day that we meet. And then the very first part of it, the first 10 minutes, we talk about a win, something that went really great since our last time together. Then one person's on the hot seat for 40 minutes where we all give them feedback on their blog, on what they're working on how to optimize it. And then for the last 10 minutes, we talk about our accountability item. So it's a little different format from this in that there's only 6 people in it, highly focused on helping everyone move forward. So my other mastermind group, it's aimed at people that own kind of group practices and are looking to expand into group practices. So we have one person on the hot seat each month around that topic. So it'd be the same sort of thing. Right now it's an idea, and like for most of my ideas, I kind of throw it out. I see if it sticks. If there's enough people that want to do it, then I make it happen. And if there's not, then I just move on to something new. And, so if there's some of you that are interested, I could put some of those ideas into Blog Sprint, and then if we get 4 people that are ready to sign up for it, then I'd definitely be willing to figure that out to help you keep moving forward. So that's about the mastermind group. Allison said, I just got, Philip, who's still now coming up again as PBIMAC 5K. I missed it, Philip. I missed your PBIMAC 5K. I tried to embed a video into the post, but I couldn't get the YouTube video to upload. All right, let me show you, and I do have a video on YouTube about that, but let me show you exactly what I'm guarantee that you are doing wrong, because it's what I did wrong for so long, and it took freaking forever to figure out. All right, so the quick version is, all right, I'm going to go into my blog post here, how to market. And let's just go to YouTube. All right, so we're on YouTube. I'm going to type in how to market and just find a video that's about how to market. So here's the marketing strategies, 4 essentials on how to market your company. So say I really like this. Actually, I like Gary Vaynerchuk. So I'm going to actually go here. I'm going to pause that and then I'm going to go to share, embed. I'm going to copy that. So I just did Command C. I'm going to go over to how to market. And then I'm going to go to text. So in WordPress, you have visual, and then text is the HTML code. It looks really funny, but I know that maybe I want to put that video right here before, if I wanted to make $100,000 in 1 year. So then I kind of scroll down, and that header 2 is right there. I'm going to just click here. I'm going to just paste that in. I'm going to go back to visual. If I come over and preview it, then if I scroll down right here, so until I go live, oh look, it's right there. So there's the video. It would be right there. So actually, I'm going to just leave that in there. And so I'm going to move this. I'm going to update that. And then now when that goes live on July 14th at 8:42 a.m., that video is going to be a part of that blog post. So I'm guessing that, Philip, you probably didn't click on the text portion. You just did it in the regular portion. Is that correct, Philip? And then let's look at some other questions while Philip's maybe replying to that. All right. Allison, I just go to my business page. Okay, so that was a great exercise. Thought it was daunting, but came up with a ton of topics. All right, I want to talk about how you guys did with your action in just a minute. I'll answer a couple other quick questions there. When are you coming to Denver? So I'm going to be there on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of September. So the evening of the 7th and the day of the 8th. JV Crum III and I, he's a Huffington Post writer. He's in a new movie with Ariana Huffington and the Dalai Lama. We're putting on an event called Blueprint to 100K. And it hasn't been released yet, but I'll probably send it to you guys in Blog Sprint first before it goes live. We're going to be doing an evening happy hour, and then we're going to do a dinner VIP meeting with, we're going to have 3 VIPs. that participate in being on hot seats. And then the next day, we're going to be going through the process to get to your first $100,000. And I think that it's $797 for general admission, and for the VIP, I want to say it's like $1497 and for that event. And then the next day, on that Friday the 9th, I'm going to be in Denver doing my own event. It's aimed particularly at counselors in private practice called Marketing Sprint. And so it's going to be all about marketing your private practice, and that's $149. And so I think that's at practicethepractice.com/Denver. So yeah, going to be hanging out there. So I'll send you guys the information on the blueprint to 100K. And let's see if there's other questions. Yoast gives me this bad SEO score. You're linking to another page with the focus keyword you want to rank for. Consider changing that if you truly want to rank. So Philip, what's probably going on is if you focus on a keyword that you're also linking to another page, they don't like that. They want each page to kind of have its own keyword you're focusing on. Now you guys are writing content that's for a lot of, different pages. So I would say just focus on a different keyword, see what it does. Or don't link to another page using that keyword. Use just a little bit different. So if you're doing Traverse City Counseling, do Traverse City Therapy or something like that. Michelle, am I coming to Northern California? I can come to Northern California. That's how Denver happened. Someone said, why don't you come to Denver? And I said, let's make it happen. And then we planned an event. So especially in the winter, I don't mind getting out of Traverse City, Michigan, where we get a foot of snow every day. All right, so how did you guys do on your action? Let's chat about your action, your plan. I want to hear your innovative ways that you're going to keep moving forward over the next 6 months. I know you guys are all smart people and came up with brilliant things in just that 15 minutes. Isn't it amazing how if you give yourself just 15 minutes, you can get a lot done in that short period of time? Let's hear your innovative ideas of how you're going to stay focused. Who wants to go first? Raise your hand and let's inspire each other in our last little bit of blog sprint. Look at all those hands. All right, Noelle, hit us with your inspiration. Oh, wait, let me unmute you. All right, there you go.
Okay, thanks. So I put down the days of the week, and I did headers for each day of the week, and then did subtopics off of those. So just for instance, Mondays are for mother issues, and Tuesdays parenting, Wednesdays family relationships, Thursday's attachment, and Friday's all about art therapy.
Oh, I love it. I love having that kind of rhythm each week. And that's going to make social media so much easier too if you're planning out social media posts. And I mean, there's when you have a good rhythm, it just makes everything else easier. Love it. That's so inspiring. Thanks for sharing. Go ahead, Pamela.
My pleasure.
I'll unmute you.
Am I?
You are
unmuted. All right. The first thing I did was I just focused on my 3 kind of types of clients that give me energy, like my 3 favorite clients. And then I wrote down monthly. I really am hoping to get I want a weekly post. And I was going to make it season specific. So like in July, I'm going to just do, Midsummer Blues for Depression. And I'm working primarily with families and going through what it's like midsummer for families. And then in August, I'm going to focus on the transition with young adults going to college and what that's like and the stress and anxiety and depression with that and give them some resources. And then September, I'll focus on, I work a lot with women over 40. And with being the empty nester or the first one out, how that changes their role, where their anxiety and depression and social things are coming into play. And even relationship will come between that and October. How that is going to, I just went month by month in each week. And then come November and December, I was going to focus, one November, the holidays. 1 week do children and co-parenting. One is just the stress, anxiety with perfection. And then relationships, the expectations of relationships. So I did that both for November and December, and I just kept listing what I was hoping to look up and research and just try to go out each week.
That's awesome.
So that was just it came easier than I thought. I think just starting this process, it was great, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and Pamela, what you did is, it's so smart. So thinking about seasonally what people are going through with your target avatar. So, you know, a 40-year-old woman, what's she dealing with in September? Like, you know, empty nesters or the first kid out, or like thinking about seasonally what's happening is really important. And what's great about if you're blogging about that is you can then reach out to radio hosts, you can reach out to the local paper, and you have all this content that's very applicable for that time of year. And so, you know, reaching out in August saying, I have 4 blog posts coming out in September all about being a new empty nester or about having my first kid go away to college. I would love to come on your radio show and talk more in depth about what I've discovered in working with women. And 9 times out of 10, those radio hosts are looking for someone that can have relevant content for that time of year. It's really at the forefront of people's minds. You know, knowing with November's election, like what are things that you know, moms are dealing with, that parents are dealing with, teachers are dealing with, you know, kind of how much muddier I'm sure this election cycle is going to get. So thinking about all those trends that you can kind of jack for your own purposes is really smart. So I love that.
Real quick question. In your experience, what's the best way to contact like radio stations? Email or phones?
I would say email. And so typically what I would do is, like, I just yesterday was doing a consulting session with someone who's in Atlanta, and I just typed in Atlanta radio stations, and she's a Christian counselor down there. So we found some Christian radio stations, some talk radio stations, and just go to the shows that apply. So make sure you find the right shows. So I like the blah, blah, blah show at 11. I think that's going to be a really good fit for me. Find out if it's just the info at that radio station versus there's often producers for each show, or oftentimes the person that's actually running the show is also the one that's booking guests. So those people often are only getting paid for the time they're on the radio. So anytime you can save them outside of that by becoming a weekly guest saves them time for their personal life. And so when you're on the radio, you want to, like a blog post, have your main kind of bones of what you want to talk about with some subheadings underneath it so that that host can sound really smart. So they can say, Pamela, wasn't there a study at Harvard that talked about that? And you're like, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. But they're just reading it off the sheet of paper that you handed to them when you walked in the studio. So the more you can make their job easier where they can do a good interview, and you show up and say, here's the main points around, you know, moms that are having their kid leave the house for college for the first time. That makes their job easier, and you'll be invited back so many more times. I mean, I've never, like when I've reached out to people and said, here's my main topics that I think I could cover that would be helpful, almost always they ask me to come in on a regular basis. It's just a matter of me finding the time to do it on a regular basis. Cool. All right. So Nazanin. All right. I'll unmute your video or audio. There you go.
Okay. So I decided to do 30 because I have a little bit more time over summer.
Yeah.
So, and I have 3 topics, different topics I would like to explore and see which one. Oh my God, my phone is ringing. Are you guys hearing it?
I am. Yeah. That's okay.
Okay. It's gone. Okay. So 3 different topics that I'm feeling passionate about. One is eating disorder, one is sexuality, and one addiction. And I have different purposes for blogging for each. For eating disorder, I want to do an ebook, write an ebook. So I was thinking writing something that I can somehow condense it and change it and would be related. So related kind of content for that. For the sexuality one, I wanted for my podcast and addiction for clients. So I was thinking for now, I'm going to do 2 hours each week. So for brainstorming and writing, I have to do them back to back. So I have like Mondays 2 hours free. So I'm going to do those then, and 1 hour of revision. And the other thing for the addiction one, that's the area I want to do. And I know there are lots of competition here. So I've been going to Alexa to see what are my competitions are ranking for.
Sure.
I'm trying to write on those. So it's not going to be as connected as the eating disorders one, but I just want to see which one of those will be more successful, and I'll go from there.
Yeah. Well, that idea of having like A/B tests, if I put time into this and I put time into this, which one gives me the best results? That's really smart for all of you as you're moving forward to think about which blog posts are people connecting with the most? What Facebook posts are we connecting with the most? Where do I get the most likes, or do I get the most clients? And so that, as well as having that bigger picture, which we didn't really touch into, and I'm glad that you brought up, is doing a larger ebook that is all of your blog posts together. around a certain topic. And so thinking about that, okay, I'm going to write 10 blog posts on eating disorders. How do I think about this in terms of maybe a 40-page ebook also? So if each one is 2 or 3 pages long of a blog post, people will either pay for that as a convenience, or it can be a free opt-in onto an email list that eventually becomes an e-course and some passive income. And
Right.
So I, like, for example, over at website roundtable.com, that's where I did a 5-day interview with Aaron Carpenter from Legendary Lion and Perry from Brighter Vision. I had all 5 of those days transcribed and then put into an ebook that then I went through and I added some extra resources. But honestly, like, the going through and editing took me about an hour or two. And I had 50 pages of an ebook that I give away now as an email opt-in. Really, it was just 5 days of talking to 2 other experts. And so if you're looking for, you know, an ebook, maybe it's that for a podcast, you interview someone on eating disorders or 5 different people, have it transcribed by somebody. And, you know, transcriptions are super cheap. Hector does it for $10 per podcast episode. And so, I mean, this 50-page, you know, book cost me $50 in transcriptions in an hour or 2 of my time. So I love that you bring up the ebook idea. That's super smart and inspiring. Keep it up, and I can't wait to see the results of it.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, let's see. I saw another hand there. Let's see. Michelle, go ahead. Oh, let me unmute you.
Okay.
All right, you are unmuted.
Okay. Well, I didn't do so much scheduling. I think I'm going to do every other week. I think weekly for me is just tough, but because the pace is still an issue. But when you talked about the ideal client and what issues they're facing, for some reason, I know you've said that before, but it really clicked. So, I mean, I have so many ideas now for blog posts in those 15 minutes. It was like, oh my God. So that really helped a lot.
Awesome. And really set the timer in the future for 15 or 20 minutes and force yourself to do things in that time. You will be shocked at how much you get done.
Okay.
So often, like just this morning, I was between, what did I have going on? I had a client coming and something else. And I'm like, I need to get, I needed to get 2 podcasts up and scheduled so that I could literally right after this leave on vacation and not come back for a week and a half. So I had this like 20 minutes. I like got it up. I had an imperfect, I didn't have the person's headshot. And so I found a headshot and screenshot it. And then they ended up emailing it to me, and that's all I had to do. And now I'm good and can go on vacation. So I love that idea of just making sure that you keep doing these little sprints. You can't go at this pace all the time, but figure out when are the times that you can sprint. So thank you for sharing, Michelle. Awesome. All right, let me see if there's any questions over here. Lisa, I will try to have a great time on vacation. We're going to Michigan's Upper Peninsula for my in-laws' 40th anniversary party, and we're going to be right on the water and go paddleboarding with my little girls, and it's going to be awesome. All right, let me just see. All right, any final questions before I kind of do our wrap-up of Blog Sprint? I don't want to leave anybody hanging. If you're going to get stuck or have something you want to brag about or some inspiration, last chance. All right. Well, I just want to thank, oh, did I see Richard raise his finger, or was that, just pointing at the sky. Awesome. Okay, well, let me just talk.
Well, actually, if I could ask just a real quick question.
Yeah, do it.
What do you recommend? Do you recommend Google Analytics at all?
Absolutely. I think everyone, even if you have WordPress where they can look at those analytics, Google Analytics, what's great about it is there's some very basic things that you can look at, but then also if you ever have a web developer, they can then historically look back at what's been happening at your website. So even if you never look at it, make sure it's installed on your website. Let me just show you a quick reason why my own analytics. Great question, Richard, because I think that the more that you know about what's happening with your website, the better. So, for example, one quick thing that I love is user flow. And so I can look at over the last month, or any period really, where people start on my website. And so a couple of years ago, this /naming was number 2. And then I realized that I was ranking for how to name a private practice. Unintentionally, I was ranking number 1 for how to name a counseling private practice. And then I was like, well, I should write some more. So then I had this how how to name a business. But then I did this article on how to start a private practice for $200 in a day. And now that has totally overtaken almost anything else. But what's great is that you can highlight traffic through here. I love this function because you can then see, okay, I have 2,800 people per month that were on that site. Where did they go after that? Okay, almost, just over 1,000 people dropped off. They never did anything. So maybe I need to have more clicks that they can choose. They dropped off probably because I have a lot of calls to action, such as sign up for LegalZoom, sign up for Bluehost, sign up for all these other things that are going to help you launch your private practice. But a handful of them go to the main page and check things out. A couple of them go to the podcast, a couple of them go to naming. So you can really look at where people go after them. Or on this naming one, where do they go? Some people go to the main page, some go to this tag. So it really gives you information on what's working on your site. If you have 80% of the people that just drop off, like that's a pretty big deal compared to if 80% of them do something else. So I would definitely want you to have Google Analytics installed. You don't have to know how to use them. Just have it there so that you can look at that historical data when you're ready for it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I'm seeing some ideas of a sprint course on social media, another one on getting...
Yeah, that was my idea.
Let's see. What else do I see here? The rest are just kind of comments to other people. Well, I just want to thank you guys. I know I've said it before, but when you have an idea for something like Blog Sprint and you throw it out there, you never know if people are going to buy something, if they're going to take their hard-earned money and time to do it. I'm just blown away that we had 30 people that went through this, that became a community, are going to continue to be a community because I'm not going to shut down the Facebook group. And I'm really excited for kind of wherever our paths cross in the future. That may just be on Facebook, and maybe with consulting or doing another sprint together or meeting in person at one of the events I'm hosting. But it's just been so fun to do this together. And I appreciate you being the inaugural class of Blog Sprint. So you will always be in the very first cohort. So give yourselves a hand, and you guys rock. I am so inspired by all of you. I want to, for one last time, do the 0 for 10, where 0 is I sure shouldn't have signed up for this thing. That was such a waste of time and money. With 10 being I'm so glad that I did this, and it's really helpful for me. Let's see your numbers. I'm going to scroll through. Look at all these 10s. Wozers. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And let's keep this Facebook group going. I'm going to continue to post things in there. I'm going to do my best to get today's videos up today, but I'm probably going to be driving on the road. So I'll get them up as soon as possible. But keep the support and stay in touch. Have a great weekend, and you guys rock. See ya.